music. If you're an artist that want to get your music heard, make sure you send it in to msmfmp@gmail.com. And we'll feature you live on our Featured Artist Hour, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, on our YouTube channel, F.M.P Radio. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share, and use the hashtag Slizzers. That's hashtag SLSUS. And if your music is right, you can get paid for your spins. And if you don't know what that means, we'll let you know. Just use the email msmfmp@gmail.com. Once again, that's msmfmp@gmail.com. You dig?
F.M.P. Radio. We keep it 100.
Yeah, you'll get familiar with that intro right there. It is the Ask Anita Astley Hour right here on Middle School Music with the IQ, because we dropping that knowledge. F.M.P. Radio keeps it 100. It is 5:01 or 1 past the hour.
1 past the hour, brother.
Yes, kicking it with me, Gino Vee. Yeah.
And your boy, COVID-free STAMP.
Hello.
Yeah, man.
And featuring Anita Astley. Yes,
Hey,
this
guys.
is the hour where you can ask anything you want to ask, relationship-wise or
Anything.
mental health-wise. Any question that you may or may not have or just discover while you're listening to us. Or if you watched on Monday, we got into some really good conversations.
Oh, boy, some deep conversations.
Let's continue that.
Right. It was quite interesting on Monday. So if you got anything left over from that, you know what I'm saying? But we're chilling here with the barefoot goddess. She's always
Yeah.
I'm always barefoot.
she's about that barefoot life.
Hey, G, let them know where they can hit us at, man. What's the number, man?
Twinkle Toes over here, 872-256-2017.
Twinkle Toes. That's a new one.
Yeah,
I haven't
right.
heard of that.
872-256-2017 is the line. Use it, abuse it, just don't lose it.
You dig?
You can call in, keep it respectful. We want to hear from those individuals that have a
really got something to say, really have questions, you know what I mean, and really want some advice, because she is a great young lady and very knowledgeable, man. She could put you in tune with some stuff you probably would never knew about.
Right.
Thank you, guys. Seriously, my ego is getting a lot of caressing here. And I'd like to welcome my Instagram followers. We are live on Instagram on Ask Anita Astley. Thank you guys for joining.
Yeah.
So awesome to have you here.
It is.
So let's continue with what we were talking a little bit about last week or on Monday. I don't know my days anymore. We talked about sex, but I want to say, because we just ran out of time because the conversation was so amazing.
Right.
With Rock in the house.
It
He's
was,
not here today.
Rock.
Rock his salad.
Salad tossing. Salad tossing.
I said, I'm bougie. I want some of that arugula.
Right?
Tossed in my salad.
As y'all can see, the way that the show was on Monday, you definitely see. We had a ball on Monday, man, but definitely let's get back into it.
Anita has a text. It's a pretty long one. We'll let you read it. But go ahead. Yeah. Did I cut you off?
Do you want to read it? Can you read
I can read it.
Yeah.
It says, for Anita.
Go ahead. Read it.
All right.
Gino.
Check this out. This is from 847, by the way.
Okay.
It says, I met a guy at work when we were in high school. We dated for almost a year before we broke up, but we remained friends. We reunited during my freshman year of college, and we decided to give our relationship another try. Unfortunately, the relationship was short-lived and we lost touch. Honestly, we were young and weren't the best communicators. Fast forward about 5 years, we ran into each other at work one day. By then, I was married and he was engaged. We bumped into each other from time to time at work for a couple of years, and then we lost touch. He found me on Facebook a few years later, and we've remained in contact since that time. We've maintained a strong friendship despite our distance, as we live in different states. It goes without saying that we still love each other and have always wished one another the best. He's in the process of getting a divorce, and I can't help but wonder more and more about what could have been. am I crazy for feeling this way? And especially since I'm married, what should I do about these feelings? What? Hold on, I gotta.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
That's loaded with so much.
Were you able to take all that in?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm a good listener.
Awesome.
So let me try to do it justice. Okay. So my disclaimer is I'm not doing therapy, guys. I'm just sharing my expert opinion and all this experience that I've had working with couples, individuals, and families. And social media, reuniting with exes on Facebook, Instagram. I'll say first that the fantasy of all of that is greater than the reality.
Okay.
Because there's so much has happened, particularly when I'm listening to that text message, so much has happened between, high school and college and to life today with her and also with him.
Right.
He's in the middle of getting a divorce or near the end. I don't know the whole details.
Right.
She's still married.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, what is going on in your marriage? I would have to ask her that you are now kind of having an emotional affair with this guy and even contemplating, getting together with him perhaps. And I don't know if you've seen him in between or if you haven't, but I'll tell you something, these social media romances, even though that you knew him and you had a romance with him in the past, it is not in the here and now that you really know him. I mean, only of these fantasies that you have of him from the past. And yes, what his life is like today. And he's in the middle of a divorce. And I would say to you, do you really want to get involved with somebody who's in the middle of leaving their partner? Do you really want to be the person that they first get together with after that? So that would be a concern. And also the first concern again goes back to you're married, and what do you want to do about that? And I don't know if you're separated, from your partner, because people are still legally married, but they're separated. They have different circumstances and situations going on. Today, people, decide to try to have an open relationship. So I don't know, but it sounds like from that message, that's not the circumstances. But of course, it sounds like your marriage is in a little bit of trouble if you're even thinking about getting together with this other guy. Because I'm sure if you, shared this with your partner, they wouldn't be too pleased about it.
Yeah, she's wondering what could have been, right? She's saying wondering more and more.
Yes, so what could have been. So you have the option of trying what could have been, and then you lose what you actually have.
Oh, that's a great way to put
it.
Right?
The fantasy of that is always greater.
You always think the grass is greener.
Yes, always do. And then in long-term relationships, it's not. In long-term relationships take work. A marriage takes work, and his is collapsing, and he's made a decision to divorce.
Right.
But I think you need to focus on your relationship that you're in right now before you decide to do anything.
Sure.
Because clearly it's a sign that there are some problems going on if you're seeking the possibility of having something with this other guy. And of course, we always have fantasies about what it's like with other people. That's healthy. That's normal. But to actually act on those fantasies, now you're getting into a very different area. And are you willing to risk your marriage or the relationship that you have that's concrete and real in your life today for something that could be or could have been? And maybe you are, I don't know. Today we live in a world of, I want to try that. But you got to check it. You got to check yourself. Right. Where are you in your relationship before you start contemplating a relationship outside of your monogamous relationship?
Definitely. I sit back and I think too, that a lot of people, they still, one, if it ended, it wasn't meant in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? That's my feelings. And a lot of people, they do hold on to the past of the greatness, but you got to think that you're not a teenager no more. Everybody changed. You spoke on that too. Like, we not being the same person you are at the age we are now versus when we were younger.
Right.
Yeah. How do you know that would even still be the same thing? Because she's thinking probably from the past experience.
She's got that image and, so, probably sees pictures on Facebook and social media. And, pictures are not really the reality of that person.
Angles and filters.
Right? And I don't know if you met in person and, maybe something did happen. I don't know that bit of information. But again, like I say to people, until you've met that person, do not break your relationship you have right now.
How they were as a kid is a lot different than how they are
we're much older. I mean, going from high school to college to now, you change.
Yeah, she didn't say how old she is, but the older you get, the harder.
It's going to definitely be harder. And also, Anita, you mentioned one thing too. Don't go based off the Instagram, Facebook pictures. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not gonna see nobody posting the past due bill on fucking Facebook.
Yeah. I'm not putting, you know, people say, oh, you always take, people say you took a good picture. I'm like, dude, the pictures that I took before that, they all got deleted. Okay.
Right.
See?
Yeah. On the real, take about 60 pictures and be like, oh, I like that one better. The light is good on that one.
Right.
So the grass always seems greener on the other side. And, you know, maybe this is an opportunity for you to focus on the relationship that you're in and start some kind of work in that relationship. And maybe it'll work out and maybe it won't work out. I can't say, but at least give your relationship, your marriage a shot before you decide to hop out and try it out with the other guy. Just saying.
For real.
Great advice. Hey, thank you for that text message.
Thanks, 847. We appreciate you.
Yeah, now, was that a call-in?
That was a text-in.
Text-in
from an area code 847.
Hey,
I won't say their number, but
that's okay.
Since they didn't leave a name or anything, I'll just say the area code. So yeah, that was 847. We appreciate you. That's usually the north suburbs.
Yeah, something like that. North suburbs.
So. Yeah. First time texter, right?
Yeah.
It's like first time texter, long time listener.
Oh wait, 847 isn't just north suburbs, is it? I'm wrong.
847 is up north.
Suburb. Is it up north, right? Yeah, because 708
is further north. Could be south, could be west.
But you know, but that there is so much in that message that we can talk about. You know,
that's
we
a hard
dissect
one.
that message. Well, there's multiple things going on in that message. You know, feelings for somebody in the past.
Right.
Number one, the fantasy of how that person used to be and how the relationship used to be. Number two.
Then they were bumping into each other at work.
Yeah, at work.
Right.
And then also, you know, the boredom in long-term relationships and long-term marriages.
Right.
That's normal and healthy. But sometimes when people feel that way, they have some unhappiness that takes place in their relationship, their marriage, which happens in all marriages and all long-term relationships.
Yeah.
They make a huge decision, which they might come to regret later, because all long-term relationships, we have peaks and valleys.
Sure. Should she just cut it off then? Like cut off the looking at the social media, give it a break, for a while, or don't revisit it?
I would not revisit that, and I would just focus on her relationship with her husband.
Yes.
And if that is, well, clearly they're having some issues, figure that out, go see a therapist if you need to.
Sure.
And then move on from there. But I think when you're split, like you're having an emotional relationship with somebody else and you're still married, that presents a very difficult problem, because you can never then really focus on the present and being there with your partner and working on that relationship. So sometimes often actually when I work with people and they're having an affair and, you know, both parties know that, I say to them, okay, the affair has to end, at least for the time that we're in therapy, or let's bring everybody here, which usually is
everybody.
Which usually doesn't work out, because I'm like, that's like, you know, treating an alcoholic who's still drinking. I do work with alcoholics who still drink, but they're very open and honest about it, because that's not something you can just switch off, right? But an affair, you can kind of say, okay, I'm going to give my marriage a shot through therapy. And you know what, if it doesn't work, then, you know, I'll entertain the affair again. But you can't be,
unless you're dealing with a crazy bitch, and then she gonna be stalking.
You know, there's a lot of crazy people out there like that, and I use that term very loosely. We all are conflicted, you know, about our feelings, and we know we want something different after a long time, but are we willing to risk what we have? I mean, that becomes the conflict. And I will say that as a human being, I've been in a long-term relationship, and I know that we've discussed polyamory last Monday.
Monday, yep.
It is normal to be conflicted, but it's what you do with that conflict, internal conflict, that's really important. I'm sure you can relate. You know, you've been married for a long time. And your wife is hot, but you see other hot women, you're like, you can have those fantasies, but you're not going to act on them, I hope. Right. Unless you're willing to take the risk, right? I don't know, Stan.
She got to be happy.
Yeah, look, we both been in.
There's a veto list. I got a veto list.
Look, we both been in long.
But I don't think they're coming.
No, she'll never call me. I know that's for damn sure.
Is it Halle Berry? You said?
Yeah, Halle Berry is one of them. But I mean, that's not. No, there's no real long list. It's just. No, you're right. Worth the risk. I don't think it's ever worth it.
Cost benefit analysis.
No, because like you said, it just never is what you think it is. It really isn't. I mean, there's nothing better than what you do have and what is supporting you and what's really behind you. And when you think you can replace that, you're gonna usually find out the hard way. I'm not saying anything's impossible. It's just that's not a normal situation, right?
But, I look at it like, I look at it as if it's kind of like, my analogy is like when you go to the theme park, the roller coaster, you know what I'm saying? You stand in that long line, you get on the ride, it's a thrill for that 10 seconds or however long it is. But when you take that train ride, that trolley, you get to see all the beautiful scenery, and some stuff look boring, see everybody around the park. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like,
the reality.
Do you want the quick or
the long beauty, long term beauty?
Can I say that we live kind of in that world now? We want a quick fix. And when the divorce rate is 6 out of 10 marriages.
Is it really? Wow.
And then social media comes into play where it's like candy everywhere.
60%?
Yeah.
Holy
so that's the reality. And people today marry with the, they marry with the option of that it's not going to work out.
Right.
That, and when I work with couples,
when you hear that.
Yeah, they're organized financially very differently, emotionally very differently, in that they have an out. They always have a backup plan, where I think, years ago you married and it was forever, and you didn't have a backup plan, and you didn't have separate accounts and all this kind of stuff.
Life. You get married, big wedding, big dress.
You merge it all together. But now everybody's got their own account. I'm not saying that's bad. It's just a reflection of, I'm ready if this marriage doesn't work.
Dig it. That's
like a backup plan.
Yes.
They're almost going into it with the assumption that this
that it's a possibility.
Work. So more like they're going into it more like a business deal.
Yes, it could be that this doesn't work out, and if it doesn't, I've got my funds on the side, which I get. That's the reality. So I'm not living in a fantasy of before, because I have kids. I'm like, well, I would want my daughter to be prepared if she marries an asshole and whatever, right? For my son too. So it worked, so it's a different time.
Yeah. And I think, preparation is right. But what do you think? Like, okay, so everybody got your separate accounts, but then you also have a joint account.
Yeah.
So if you get I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, would it still be taken in the same context as having that backup plan? If you have a joint account and just put some, as my pops say, wham, some walk around money, some wham, slush in the other account.
Well, no, it's just more for, like she said, the backup plan.
Yeah, people have I'm just saying the intent is different.
If you put your money together, but they fuck off on you, you have something left instead of being broke as hell.
Yeah.
But that's never was the thought process before.
Yes.
And it is now. Yeah.
Or it was more,
you just merge everything together.
You,
and it's
we have, well, we don't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I could dig that.
Right.
And she's
that's
like
reality.
The young lady, it is conflicted. And I agree with you on shutting it down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you leave that scab open long enough, it's gonna get infected.
It is.
You know what I mean?
True that. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah,
that was a good text, man. Definitely a good text.
Yeah, there's so much to that. And we did talk about sex on Monday. I would keep on saying last week, but it was only Monday.
Monday.
But physical intimacy is so much more than just having sex. I mean, we've lost the sense of sensual touch in relationships, because everybody goes to that. It's got to be intercourse, and then in relationships, I think some people don't even touch each other affectionately anymore, because they think then it's going to lead to sex. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, we got to bring back some affectionate touch, kissing, hugging, sitting next to each other, making eye contact is a form of physical intimacy. People don't see that. But, when we look at each other and we make eye contact, there is that feeling sometimes. Don't look at me.
It definitely It definitely can be. It definitely can
He's
be.
He's turning red and I'm shy.
I'm just keeping everything moving. I'm sorry.
Hey,
putting up the
family.
number. I'm checking.
Look, if y'all
text,
he's the master of audio. So we gotta,
doing all the
in the fear of that, people don't touch each other. So I think, we can experience each other's bodies in a very different way. It's just not intercourse. Just wanted to put that out there.
Definitely.
Sure.
Hey, family, if y'all want to be like that 847 texter, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all hit us up 872 that's dyslexia, 872-256-2017, man. Text us, call in, whatever you want to do. Anita is on her IG, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to hit up her IG and even post on YouTube, because we are live on YouTube.
Barefoot as well.
So come on in.
I live a barefoot life. Sometimes people don't believe that. They think I'm teasing.
The feet thing is crazy. It is nuts.
Do you want to talk about the feet thing too now? Go ahead. A lot of people interested in the feet thing.
No, I'm just, it's flattering that they think I'm lucky to be sitting across from those toes.
You're lucky if I go like
from
this.
those toes. Yeah, like they're like, wow, look at him. He's sitting right there.
And he doesn't care.
Yeah, and I'm like, really?
It's wasted. My souls are wasted.
Then they're sounding like, look, they sending you message sounding like Homer, Gino.
All right. So let me ask you guys a question and we can banter about this. So we talk about physical intimacy. How it's so much more than just sex.
Sure.
What about emotional intimacy? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Emotions play a big part, I believe, in intimacy. You have to show emotion. You're not stone-faced, I would hope, when you're doing your intimate things with your partner. And you should be considerative. Is that the word I'm looking for? Right? You should consider their feelings. Considerate to their feelings, or I know that was weird. Considerative. I don't think that's the word.
You have a lot of stuff going on over there.
Considerative.
No, you should definitely consider your partner's feelings. And I never have been asked that or even looked at it that way, but just sitting here taking it in in the moment. I see what you mean. I mean, I think it's natural that I do that anyway. I mean, I'm very emotional as it is.
You are.
I was raised by females. So we've had this discussion too with Stamp and I believe our Thursday co-host, Lady Mystic, right? About being raised one way being raised by men and then another way, or with the male figure in the home, I should say, not just by men, with the male and the female together, where me, for instance, I was raised by my grandma and my mother. So there's a lot of emotion that comes out. And I've heard that a lot through my years when I dealt with people like, you're bringing too much emotion to it.
Well, you're sensitive to their feelings.
Yeah. Right? And I'm being sensitive to their feelings. And I'm also showing my true feelings where some people think you should kind of like reserve that. Yeah. But I'm just like,
no, I think it's, for a guy to be like that, I think it's fantastic. And when we I just want to define that for our listeners and our viewers and our followers, that emotional, because people use this term and I'm not sure, what they are meaning or what they, how they define it. And I will say for you guys, as a therapist, when I think of emotional intimacy and I work with couples and just in my own life with my friends and my family, because we do have this with friends and family. It's not only reserved for our romantic relationships. We are really looking to be seen emotionally. Okay. And also to allow others to see us. So it's being emotionally naked in many ways. I want you to truly know what my thoughts and feelings are. And I also want to know what your thoughts and feelings are true. And it is really ultimately the human connection that we are seeking. And I think we are hardwired for that because we can have physical intimacy without the emotional intimacy because people do that all the time, right?
Sure. Yes.
But
definitely,
if the relationship is going to be long-term and it's going to work, I think the foundation is really having strong emotional intimacy because everything else to me is fleeting. Sex is fleeting, looks are fleeting. And if your relationship is purely based on that, it's not going to last.
Gotcha. Right. So you gotta have that. Yeah. Right. Because I know that I get where you're going now, where it's like the little touches you do, or even just the little rubs you do, or even sometimes just the look you give, right?
And that's better when you're emotionally connected to the person, right? I'm thinking of all the experiences. The sexual experience is enhanced by a close, intimate, emotional connection, isn't it? Right. I mean, for most people it is. I think.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, I think it's important. I know Stamp has to take care of something real quick. He'll be right back with us, but definitely. I think it is important that you have that aspect because if it's just one track, minded, I guess, where you're just looking for physicalness, that's going to get old quick. I don't think you'll go through tens of years with someone based on just the physical part alone. No. Someone's going to end up getting bored and, go somewhere else. And that's where you have all these, I guess, where you come into having clients.
Yeah, well, we're looking,
Right?
keeps me in business.
What do you think, Stamp?
Keeps me in business for sure. But can I just say one thing
Okay,
about
yeah.
the emotional intimacy is that it does take time to build with someone, because I think people think that it should happen overnight.
Right.
No, when you meet somebody, emotional intimacy takes time, and it takes work, and it takes effort, and it takes a mutual desire to build that with the other person. Because today when people are dating and on Instagram and social media, Facebook, whatever, dating apps, they feel this sense of emotional intimacy, but I'm thinking, okay, how real is this? You've never met the person, and you need to have that. You have to have that face-to-face connection and that face-to-face interaction. But emotional intimacy, I think, is the foundation of all relationships. If it's going to work out.
I believe so. Yeah. What you think, Stamp?
I mean, I think honestly, like what G was saying about us coming from two different sides, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the way that I grew up, it was hard to show emotion. You couldn't. They would say, "Oh, stop being a girl, stop this, stop that," and so it's hard with me, even today as an adult, to have that emotion. But I've been getting better with it, man, and I think that it is a good thing. I think emotional support and everything like that is a lot better than any other type of support there is.
So can I ask you, what about emotional intimacy with male friends? Because, it is not just for romantic couples. It is emotional intimacy with our family members, our siblings, and friends. So what about with guys?
On a guy standpoint, like, honestly, me and G, like, I could be emotional with him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I could be emotional with the ones that are truly my family, my circle. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But on the outside, if it's somebody you meeting, I mean, you can't be too emotional with a dude that's an associate, so to speak. Y'all friends, y'all cool, mm-hmm. but y'all not at that level where I could tell you this and get that support, where I could cry on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? And I have done that before, like set back only with my circle, only with my guys. You know what I mean?
Trust is a big part of it.
Sure. Yeah. Right. That's the issue. Trust.
Trust and
we
feeling
can't
safe.
Trust others to take it the same way someone like Stamp will, who we've known each other since like 1993. Mm-hmm. So of course, but if it's someone new or someone who's from outside that circle, we're gonna reserve that emotion because they'll take it the wrong way, or they'll spread it in a way that makes you look a certain way, and then us, and that's the way dominant figures, we do have to watch that where we, because we get it in the packs, mm-hmm. right? And we have that pack mentality of there's the leader, and we know who we can fuck with, who we can't fuck with, all the way down to the guy who gets all the shit put on him, right? So there is that with us. And I know for females, it is different. You guys have a different way of your pack and how you deal with each other.
They definitely do. All of them go to the bathroom together. One got to go to the bathroom. Come on.
We're going to the bathroom.
That's like what? Emotional intimacy, though. Those are intimate moments that we go into the bathroom together for. But it's really, your point is well taken in that we want to be together physically and then emotionally sharing experiences. But the other thing I want to bring up, which is really important, because people often say to me, we've lost that connection. I don't feel connected anymore to my partner. It's been years. And they, think that it's magically going to come back. As I said before, it takes work. Or at the beginning of a relationship, people say, well, we're not actually getting anywhere. And it turns out that people, in those situations are really afraid to deal with conflict, and they avoid it. But I will tell you, conflict is great for relationships. And you're gonna say, what the hell are you talking about, Anita? Because it's good for your business.
I knew a conflict that wasn't great at all.
Well, wait a minute. It has to be that, this relationship is important to you. I know what you're talking about. I'm not going there.
Yeah, that went over your head.
No, I didn't. So
I'm actually referring to a person that was named conflict. We had a conflict that wasn't great at all.
Okay, play one of your wah-wahs, okay?
Okay, sorry.
But when there's a conflict in a relationship, Gino
is a fool. Okay. I was trying not to say nothing.
It's okay. When there's a conflict, to me, it's a signal that the relationship is trying to get to a different level of emotional intimacy. It's trying to go up. So at that point, you have an opportunity to do that, right? By confronting and embracing the conflict, or running away, which will decrease emotional intimacy, or it'll destroy the relationship and you're not going to go anywhere. No. So if it's somebody that's close to me and there's a conflict, and that happens to me all the time, because you guys know I'm passionate, I'm heated, I embrace conflict and I run into it and confrontation, all that kind of stuff.
You got that training.
I got that training, whatever.
Yeah, they taught you how to deal with that shit.
So that is an opportunity to enhance your relationship. So say to you guys, if you're in a relationship and you're avoiding conflict, do not do that, because you're not going to become more intimately, emotionally involved with this person. Right. It's an opportunity for you to take the relationship to a different level. Of course, if you want to. If you don't want to, well, then, okay, you can run away. But how long are you going to run away for? And how many relationships are you going to run away from? Right. Because it's generally a pattern that people repeat. They've learned in their family of origin. Yes. The way to deal with conflict is to run away.
Right. But no, guys, it's real talk, fellas, go for it. Confront the conflict. Makeup sex can be fucking amazing. So make sure
that's true.
Try it sometime. Go for that. If you're one that'll shy away from the conflict, no, try it, work it out, and trust me. Tell me how the makeup sex was, because I tell you, that shit could be amazing. Yeah. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Hey, ain't no need to be. No need.
Wait, comment over here. But people often think female equals more emotional. Not always the case. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Not all. You want to talk about?
No, I'm just saying. I
definitely.
Yeah,
because you guys are not like that at all. I know both of you, and you're not like that at all. You're quite emotional too.
And I mean, I know for a fact, like with growing, because I did have male figures in my life, but the women were the strong, like they weren't all emotional. They weren't, it was like, man, because it was totally opposite of what people perceive a woman to be. You know what I mean? Because my grandmother she did body and fender work. The only woman that fixed cars and did the work, but she had that soft side and that hard side. And I think it was, again, it's all about how you're raised and what you're taught.
And what the influence of those females in your lives were, right? It's like your mom and Gino with
like they definitely were. So it gives us as men, or both G and myself as men, a different outlook, a different perspective from what people generally think a woman is and a woman does. You know what I'm saying?
And then I want to add to it that it's not, and we have to change the language around, is that it's not that, couples will come in and say, well, he's not emotionally sensitive. He's not emotional. He doesn't have any emotions. And I'm saying, okay, let's stop that. He is emotional. He expresses his emotions differently than you do. And how are you maybe hindering that? And we have to look at how is, that male in the relationship taught to deal with his emotions. So it's not that men don't have emotions. Absolutely, they're full of a lot of emotions. But we as a society have trained men to express their emotions in a way that makes them appear like they don't have any. But absolutely,
and that's you said the right thing, because it's learning how someone displays their emotions.
Yes,
is definitely a big key.
We got a caller, Bear from Texas wants to talk.
I know him.
Oh,
what's up, Bear?
So, hello, Bear. You there?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Bear. Welcome.
Hey.
How's that T-shirt going?
When you talk about not avoiding conflict, like I'm one of those people. Like I'm always about to let's let the situation cool down and then readdress it. But then you get into the whole, murky water of like, how do you do that comfortably without, it's been my experience that sometimes you just reopen the wound because they don't really have the, mental fortitude to calm down or to have been calming down. They just sit there and like, they replay the argument over and over in their head and they having the argument again. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Okay. That is a great question. That is a really good question. And I want to address this because I do work with this all the time. Okay. So we have to go back to the conflict. And I generally tell people, listen, 24 hours and that's it, not more than 48 hours, because 48 hours is too long. People pretend that it didn't happen, or, they avoid the conversation, they run away. 24 hours is my rule. Now, what you have to agree now, I call it tabling it. When you're in the middle of the conflict, I give them the word. Of course, we have to agree on what the rules are going to be, but I call it tabling. When you're having a fight with somebody and it escalates. So you can have three types of couples, right? The one that you're talking about, Mr. Bear, I'm going to address. You have to agree to first de-escalate the situation. And that in and of itself takes training and it takes time because most people don't know how to do that. So once we learn on de-escalating the situation, you need to be able to agree that, within 24 hours, we're going to talk about this. And that usually comforts both people because there's generally one person who, this typical scenario, something happens between Gino and I, he runs away and I chase him and say, no, we got to talk. He's like, and the more I say that to him, the more he runs away and the more he shuts down. And we're caught up in this negative downward spiral, right? So that needs to stop. And the person who's, for me, when I'm chasing Gino to talk about it, it's because I have this anxiety that if I don't talk about it right now, I'm never going to be able to talk about it. And he's not going to listen to me. And we're going to wake up tomorrow and we're going to pretend that nothing happened. And that's going to cause me a lot of anxiety. So if we agree, excuse me, that tomorrow at 8 o'clock, you and I are going to sit down. We're going to have a conversation about this. That's going to give me some peace of mind and lessen my anxiety. And for the other person, then Gino doesn't have to be worried that I'm going to chase him all night in trying to resolve this. So we agree on a time and we agree on a place. Now that place has to be a place where we have enough privacy. And if we have enough time to actually give the conflict some justice. People do door knobbers, I call them. They set up to talk about it at a time where there's really not enough time and the kids around, everybody's around. So there's not an opportunity to fully resolve the conflict that they've had. So you need to come to the table 24 hours later. You need to agree on a space that's going to be private. And then you just need to talk about it. And, when we're talking about it, we also need to be able to listen to the other one's perspective. And that is sometimes very difficult because we're always trying to convince the other person that we are right and they are wrong. So we need to get out of that dance. All of this stuff takes time to learn because we've learned to fight in a manner usually, which is not very healthy. So there's a lot to that question. But again, I encourage you to revisit the conflict. You have to revisit the conflict if you're going to move forward in the relationship in a healthy manner. And you need to learn to fight in a healthy manner. Fighting is actually very healthy in relationships. When I have couples who come in and say they never fight, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, that's not healthy. It's how we fight that's important and how we resolve the conflict that's important. And please do not run away from conflict. That is not going to be helpful to you or your relationship. I'm sorry, that took a lot.
Did you take all that in, Bear? I know, I almost forgot he was there.
Bear, I'm sorry, Bear. I mean, really, I could spend hours talking about this. Is that helpful?
So kind of, I mean, like, I get the premise of it. So, but like, let's say the fight was at lunch on Friday.
Yeah.
And both of y'all are still at work and you agree that you're going to go to lunch on Saturday away from the kids and then y'all are going to talk about it.
Right.
So in between lunch Friday and lunch Saturday, do you just act like the problem isn't there?
Very good question, because this is something that I work with. Is you are going, once you've decided that tomorrow at lunch we're going to talk about it, both of you are going to agree not to talk about it until that point in time. And I know people have a hard time with that. So then you need to, it's like taking a timeout for adults. This is what I tell my couples to do. You've agreed, you're going to talk about it 12 o'clock tomorrow, but you are not going to bring it up in between. You're going to reserve it. And, again, 24 hours for me is enough time for the emotional person to become more rational and the rational person to become a little bit more emotional and empathize with their partner. But absolutely do not talk about it when you already have decided that we're going to talk about it at 12 o'clock tomorrow. And sometimes that's really difficult for people because they absolutely need to talk about it.
Yeah, right.
That's not helpful. That's not constructive.
So what if they give you like you sitting there and to his point at lunch, and then it's like you in the house all day now, it's like,
no, you're not going to talk about it. You've made an agreement. But the safety net is there is a time.
Just come up with that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's a time and there is a place that should lessen the anxiety on both sides. And then you have time to become more rational and for the other person to become more emotional. Because generally in a coupleship, there is one that's really emotional and there's one that's overly rational. And we need to just exchange a little bit of that with our partner.
Yeah.
For sure. How's
Good
that,
question,
Bear?
though, Mr. Bear. I filled in the gap, I hope.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I want to thank him. He's one of my
thank you so much.
followers in Texas, and he's always
thank you. Thank
you so much for all your support on all my posts and wearing that awesome T-shirt I sent you. And he's got some awesome ink. I just want to say that.
Thanks again,
thank
Bear.
You, Mr.
Thank you, Bear. Thanks for calling in. Bear.
We appreciate the call. Thank you again.
Not a problem. Y'all have a good day.
Thank
you too. Bye bye now.
Hey man, if y'all want to be like Bear, you know what I mean, hit us up. 872-256-2017. Yes.
Sorry if I interrupted you, but he brought up some really good points. And, this is something that I teach my couples to do, which is called tabling it. So I teach, they've got to have 24 hours from when the fight happened to when they're going to talk about it. They've got to establish a time and a place to talk about it and make sure it's private and make sure that they have enough time. And the other point I want to mention, if Mr. Bear is still listening, or to everybody else who's listening, 1 hour is enough. Because generally what happens, and this falls apart, is one person will keep talking about it and the other one will be like, oh my God, I'm so emotionally done and saturated. I can't talk about it anymore. Anita, you told us to talk about it. So 1 hour and recap it, and we'll come back to it again within 24 hours. So again, the rule is
limit that
limit
as well.
it. Okay. So the rule is you're going to table it to de-escalate it.
Right.
Okay. You're going to establish a time when to talk about it. That's going to be within 24 hours. Okay.
Right.
And then you're not going to talk about it in between. Okay. Because now you have a place to take it.
Sure.
And you're going to make sure that when you're at the table, because I say tabling it, that it's enough time, which is an hour. And then also that it's a private space and you don't have your kids around.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's a lot to take in, but it works. It absolutely works when I help couples to do this.
Listen to her. She knows what she's talking. She's been doing this, 30 years?
I'm not that old, 25.
25. Almost.
Every year matters.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. But take that in, guys.
Yes.
And we're going to pay some bills. We got 2 minutes worth of commercials. So take that in for the next 120 seconds. We'll come back and talk more with Anita on the Ask Anita Astley Hour right here on Middle School Music with the IQ, because we drop knowledge. F.M.P. Radio keeps it 100. We'll be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones and you'd make a plan today. It's true. I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
F.M.P. Radio, we keep it 100.
Yeah, we are back here with the Ask Anita Astley Hour on Middle School Music with the IQ, because we dropping that knowledge. F.M.P. Radio Chicago keeps it 100. It is 44 past the hour. I'm Gino Vee.
I'm your boy COVID-free, STAMP.
And we have lovely barefoot Anita Astley.
We'll be checking my feet.
Yes, the barefoot goddess, twinkle toes, however you want to describe it.
You guys are naughty.
Hey,
she got the feet out, guys.
Hey, look, that'll be a dope shirt. have a picture of some feet and then the toes like cartoon.
She puts her feet up there.
That T-shirt does exist.
She has feet fans. She has fans.
I gave one to Gino, but he totally didn't wear it.
An extra large is not going to work on me.
We love you too.
Yeah, there it is.
Where is the T-shirt?
This way. No, Chris, you got to go back the way you came. No, the other way. Face the camera. There you go. Yeah.
Oh.
For the YouTubers.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys want that T-shirt, just gotta send me a DM. I'm having a promo soon.
Awesome. But yeah, we are in the building talking all things relationships.
See, I am always barefoot. I'm not just teasing you guys. It's a lifestyle.
She is barefoot. Yeah, we are not kidding. That is.
And they don't appreciate it.
The aroma lets me know.
Oh, stop.
Look at you. Do you?
My feet are not stinky, okay? I have very clean feet.
I don't know about all that. No, I was just kidding. No, she just got done running a couple miles. You know what them feet was just pounding the pavement.
They were. Come on. They keep me going. My wheels. I call them my wheels.
Yo, Chevrolets.
Yo.
Said Chevrolet. Dude, you a fool.
You guys are nasty.
But man. Once again, y'all hit us up, man. 872-256-2017. Definitely hit us up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I want your T-shirt so I can have a woman on my chest the whole time.
Nice.
Okay, whatever rocks your boat, dude.
Yeah, for real. Go for it.
That's why they're made.
Put your orders in.
Somebody's got to wear it.
Yeah, let us know. Hit us up if you want a shirt. Yeah, I'm sure Anita can make it happen.
I totally can make it happen.
She could even autograph it for you.
I will actually sign each one personally and put a message. So
yeah.
Nice.
Follow me on Instagram, Ask Anita Astley.
Yeah.
All right. So getting back to the questions, let's see if we have any more questions.
Where does that country slang come from?
What country? I have one.
The y'all.
Oh, I
hear
don't
that.
know.
Is that's
me?
just natural? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've lived in Canada.
Okay.
I've lived in New York, and now I live in Wisconsin. So I guess it's an amount.
I'm hearing this.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Well, Canadians say hey all the time, right?
Hey.
Yeah. Hey. I don't know. I'm a mixture of everything.
Come
what
on,
can I say, guys?
I just kept hearing that y'all. I'm like,
I'm Indian, Canadian, American,
right.
New York, Wisconsin.
It's a melting pot.
It's a melting pot with me.
Yeah.
All right.
Gumbo. Got the gumbo mix.
All right. We got some more. Oh, we have from my friend and follower Jay. Since you are out there in Chicago, do you all find that relationships may change depend on the person's region and where they are born? Interesting. That's a good question. Well,
That's
I think
a good one.
Yeah, I think depending on where you're born. Well, you're asking me. I was born in India.
Right.
Then I was exposed to a very different type of relationship with my parents because they were influenced by the Indian culture.
Right.
And then, of course, that impacted on my relationship with my friends and then ultimately partners.
Right. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
What about you, Gino?
What's the question again?
Well, does a location or people
matter?
I think it does. I mean, you bring different values to the relationship.
Is that what they're asking? The location?
Jay, did we answer that, or we need more?
Is that I think I know what he's saying.
Region and where they're born.
So yeah, being Latin, I guess we're more affectionate, right? We show more affection through music, through dance, through
touching,
through connection. Yeah, we are gonna touch you more, I guess. And then when you look at like Europeans and shit, they act a little different. Yeah, no, but it's true. I mean, the Latin vibe, I mean, when you listen to the music and
it's very sensual.
You watch the dance, it is a very sensual dance. It is something that can get you pretty aroused if you have a partner that is dancing with you. But I mean, I think he's right. Yeah, depending on where you're from, I tend to see Europeans a lot different. You know, they don't do what a Latin culture would do. So culture, your culture does, I think, matter, of course.
Well, because it dictates your norms, your values, your belief system, and that, of course, dictates how we interact with people, right?
Right.
Yeah,
sure.
Our relationships.
I think so.
So it's a good question.
It's always about how you're raised. Yeah, I think indeed. And even if you're in a certain culture, but that particular family didn't raise you that way, you're going to be different again.
Yeah. So he goes on to say, there are so many different regions and how people value intimacy. Talking to someone in New York is way different than the South. Absolutely agree.
Oh, definitely. That is definitely true.
So people are going to be either warmer, they're going to be cold, but that goes from the city to the country, right? You leave New York City and you go to upstate New York, people are very different. Like I remember when I moved from the city to upstate, people would say hello to me in the parking lot, and I would be like, "What the hell do you want? Like, why are you?"
That is so true. When I moved to Georgia, somebody was trying to ask me.
Right.
That's so true. When I moved to Georgia, somebody was asking me to help me move my stuff in, and I'm like, "Hell no! What you doing?"
Right.
But after getting to know that person, I knew that they were genuinely asking to help me move my stuff in. So it's definitely different from regions and everything, you know what I mean, and how people are brought up. And because the country mentality, and I say this from some deep South country mentality where, you know, dinner is at this time and every kids come in and this and that. From the city mentality is different. So when you put the country with the city, it's gonna be some head.
There's a conflict. Yeah, there's a conflict. They're not that compatible. Now, you know, going back to that question, which is really good. I'm thinking about how I grew up in my family. We're from India. My mom was home and my dad worked, you know, traditional setup. And my mother cooked all the time. And then my friends were over all the time. And that's how I am with my life today, with my kids and my family. And I do know people who they never entertained. And I think, oh my God, that's so weird that you never have people over for dinner. I have people over all the time.
Okay.
And that is intimacy, isn't it? That I know I had a friend once that said, how come you never invite me for dinner? I've had you at my house many times. And for her, she says, and she did say to me, I didn't grow up like that. My parents never had people over for dinner. And I thought, that's so weird. It wasn't weird, just different.
Well, I'm like that. I don't invite a lot of people over.
God, you're mean.
Hey, you know what? And I think that
my dinner time is my time.
Really? But I'm surprised because in the Latino culture,
you're right.
Right?
It is
it's
a bit
pretty,
different.
You know, potluck style.
But I wasn't raised typical Latino. I was raised in an all. No, I'm different.
Different, special. You're
different.
We're not using the bad terms.
No, but you know, I could see how that sometimes doesn't work in relationships. If you come from, like, say, my brother married somebody who didn't come from a very similar background, they would have a clash because he would want to have people over for dinner all the time, like open door policy. And that person might be more private and say, no, I don't do that. Right.
I'm with that. Yeah.
So good question, Jay.
That was a great,
for that.
Definitely a great question. Great question, man.
Yeah. We got about 8 minutes left. What should we get to?
We have a comment here.
Okay,
I was greeted more warmly when I visited Nashville in 1 week than the 51 years I've lived in New Jersey. Yeah, totally. I get that.
Man, yeah, definitely.
Yes, New Jersey
That's what
style.
you were talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Okay, and then I asked because I don't think a lot of people talk about that at the beginning of the relationship. They try to be nice, and there can be a lot of friction if you don't set expectations. Absolutely. Just like what I said, if my brother married somebody who was very different to that, the relationship in the end would have a lot of conflict. And I know people like that. One is very outgoing and is used to this warm open door policy where their partner is not, and they end up fighting about that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
There's got to be compatibility. You know, we talked about emotional intimacy.
Yeah.
We got to think about compatibility of culture.
For sure.
Yeah. And he made the person who commented, they made a great point. You know what I mean? Outside of because me coming down to the South from the North, I thought it was way different. And I didn't know this openness and this everybody, hey, you know what I'm saying?
How are you?
Right.
And now when I talk to somebody, I could tell where they from. And the misconception that a lot of people get is people from Chicago, New York, anywhere up top, we talk aggressive. But it's not really aggressive to us. It's just aggressive to you because they talk.
They're more laid back.
And that could
Rock was like that. If we had Rock in the room, because he has that deep South mentality.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, and that could also, as you mentioned, bring that conflict into a relationship because you like, I'm just talking, I'm not being aggressive, and somebody else like, well, it sounds aggressive.
Oh, that's so true. Because I'm Indian and I grew up and we talk loud and we say everything that we think and feel. Not that it ever gets resolved in a healthy way. That's a whole nother show.
Right.
But sometimes when people meet me, they're like, "Why are you yelling?" I'm like, "I'm not yelling. Like this is how I talk. I'm so
I'm just naturally loud." On the real.
I'm just very passionate and I talk.
Hey, you should see our family reunions. You heard me? You should see our family reunions. Everybody yelling
loud, right? Yeah, I'm used to that.
I just like I have a lot of passion. What can I say?
No, I'm used to being in a loud household. So.
Hey, the only way that you know they not arguing is you hear a big ha ha yeah.
Right. Once you hear the laugh, you know. Okay, whew, I thought they were arguing.
I thought they was arguing. No, we ain't.
But you could see how that, for some couples, they can't work because if you think I'm always yelling at you, but
right.
This is just who I am.
No,
right?
for sure.
Definitely. That was another.
I'm
great
always
comment,
at notch 10.
Yeah, right. Always on 10. Right.
I'm always on 10.
Right.
You know what it is?
Espresso hits in the morning. It's 10.
You know it.
Hey, you know when people like us that are loud. When we be quiet, that's when you gotta worry. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, Stamp, let's reframe that to call it passionate, not loud.
Passionate.
Speaking of the devil.
Rock walked in.
Rock is in the house.
What's happening, Rock?
Yeah, we're just passionate people and we have, a lot of passion.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Oh, we have something. Chicago people have their guard up hard in the beginning. When we meet people, I agree. Your culture background sticks throughout life. Yeah, it's a city country mentality, right? In the city, everybody's protecting themselves because, city is different lifestyle.
Yes.
And in the country, we're more chill and relaxed, right?
For sure.
It can be more friendly.
Yeah.
Good question
True.
and good point.
True that.
And then in the city, you are all up on each other. In the country, you got space, so you got that time to relax.
It just takes time to get used to, but it's a positive thing to get used to.
Definitely is. Hey, and you know what? I've gotten used to it. I'm still in some ways have my guard up. You know what I'm saying? But that's just depending on where I'm at. But I love the South.
I love people, so I talk to most people.
Yeah. I like some people now.
Oh no, I was gonna say it.
Generally, I was
gonna say it. I like some people, but there's some people that I will just give it to. Yeah. It's like fuck on.
Some people you be like, hey, walking this. I want that bus coming right now to hit you.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be upset if the plane crashed and everybody survived except you. I wouldn't be mad. That's all I'm saying.
You get to the points, you be like, okay, I got to make sure you're not going to go help right off the bat. You just be like, dang, okay, get you a few glances and then go over there. You okay?
Right. Right.
Nah, but that was definitely some great comments.
We got one more. We got 3 minutes. We got one more or
let's see if somebody else got a question. Okay, tell Stamp, Chrissy, and Gino I said hi.
Hello.
F.M.P. Radio.
What up?
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so what should okay, wait.
He just said hi.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Is that Stamp?
Okay, hey, who that is?
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank
check
you.
This out.
If it's F.M.P., that might be Gemini.
Yeah, is it Gemini? It's F.M.P.
I
don't know who it is.
I think that's him.
Who is it? Who?
That's
name
his
yourself,
code account.
Please. Hello.
Mystery man.
That is Gem. Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, he's
definitely.
Is that you, Gemini? Are you hiding?
Hey, everybody that's out there, once again, man, we do this Mondays and today Wednesday, right?
Yes, it is. All day.
Y'all make sure y'all take this number down, 872-256-2017. You understand what I'm saying? And you can also hit us up on our Facebook, Instagram, and everything. If you have a question for the show or for Anita, hit Anita up on her Instagram. You know what I mean?
Of course. Go hit her up.
And I will always go live on Mondays and Wednesdays between 5 to 6, so you guys can join in. And I appreciate everyone who called in today and everybody who's following, because I know everybody's busy and so much. Thank you, Mr. Bear.
Yeah, text.
Thanks. 847.
847 for the text.
The text. Yeah, man.
Question. That was awesome. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back next Monday with Anita for the Ask Anita Astley Hour. She'll still be here for the next hour. So we most likely will probably continue some of these. But if you do want to text in or comment in, we may or may not throw it out there, but for this hour, this is the specific 60 minutes that you get with her.
Much.
And you normally would have to pay big bucks for this because this lady doesn't charge cheap now. 25 years doesn't get you you don't get deals after 25 years.
Well, this is my passion, so I love to share it with a larger platform. But I do want to say, if you guys have questions from now till Monday's show, feel free to follow me on Instagram and send me a DM. Yeah. I will take the comment. I will take the question. I'll bring it to the floor on Monday or Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay.
You can hit her up, hit up F.M.P. However, we'll write them down.
F.M.P. Radio.
We will bring them on for the next show. Of course, we'll save them. It doesn't matter when you send it in. Oh, no. Thank you. We appreciate you bringing that experience and the wisdom that you have for these people because it is a big deal. Relationships are huge.
We are all in relationships.
Next to buying a house and a car and having a kid, I think relationships are top 4 or 5 for sure.
Right? And, people sometimes will say, well, I don't need to follow you. I don't need to learn this or do anything. I'm like, dude, because they're not in a romantic relationship. Yeah. I say, you are in relationships. Your relationship with yourself, your neighbors, your family, your brother, your sister, co-workers.
Right.
We can't escape relationships.
The mailman.
Definitely.
So why not learn how to navigate and negotiate them?
Right.
Why not?
Why not?
Why
not? There he is.
Why not?
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to jump off of the YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining. We appreciate
YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Hashtag Slizzus.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? We forgot to say it, but Slizzus.
Yes.
Subscribe, like, and share. You dig?
Yes, indeed. We are going to play this. This is usually the featured artist hour, so we will play for you how to send in your music. And tomorrow we'll be back with the featured artist hour and Friday, of course, for New Shit Fridays. We also have the AAA Mental Experience tomorrow, so make sure that you are
in there
with us. For that, Lady Mystic joins us with all her special knowledge and wisdom as well, so can't wait for that. But in the meantime, man, go on over to the F.M.P. YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share. Go over to the YouTube or Facebook page, Instagram page. Do all that for us.
Yep.
And we'll
go to the app because we're not finished.
Yes, we are not.
Go to the
done.
app, F.M.P.
Yes.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
We will see you later. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
What's hood, family? This your boy, COVID-free STAMP from Middle